Hello, everybody. This is Swati live from Los Angeles. Today, we are going to start on a slightly new subject, self compassion. But before we really get into self compassion, I would like to talk about the first step towards self compassion, which is acceptance. Is a cornerstone of mindfulness. How and why? I am going to talk about it in a moment. But before that, let me attend to some of the comments or questions which are about the sympathetic joy, the idea of sympathetic joy that we discussed yesterday. So let me attend to that first. So Sandy wants to know, she's saying that um, sympathetic joy meditation is opposite of envy and jealousy. Yes, this meditation was making me go to sleep. I had to mindfully bring myself back to the present moment. My body felt light, my head heavy. It was as if it was a falling off my shoulders. Uh, Sandy and everybody, there's one thing I want to make very clear. Looks like it was a little bit confusing because I did receive some emails as well. What we did, the meditation we did yesterday, was not about sympathetic joy. I did not say it was a sympathetic joy meditation. I think you may have missed the part I said just before meditating. Um, this was just a meditation to get us prepared into recognizing our feelings, that there are some feelings that we feel. Sometimes we are not aware of our own feelings. Sometimes we are not used to paying attention to our own feelings. And so the meditation we did was body awareness meditation with a slight modification where we also pay attention to our feelings and label them. It wasn't specifically about sympathetic joy. I just wanted to throw in the idea of sympathetic joy because the whole week long we had talked about positive feelings, and sympathetic joy is one of the key ideas in the whole bunch of a bag of positive feelings that will in fact help you to get rid of some of the discomfort that's not necessary, and in fact add something really nice to your repertory of good feelings. Now, regardless, you were falling asleep. That happens. As I said, there are 5 enemies of meditation. Sleep is one of them. The 5 enemies, just to summarize it again, are crash. Now, first I'm going to get rid of this bottom and then I'll talk about crash. So, what is crash? Crash are 5 enemies of meditation. C is for craving. When you have intense craving for pleasure that can come in your way. R is restlessness, which is restlessness. A is aversion to anything painful that comes up. That's number 3, that can hinder your meditation. S is for sleep. It's a common experience. And H is for hurting. Your body can hurt, and body hurting can stop you from or take you away from your meditation. So these are the 5 enemies. And what your experience was, to fall off, to sleep, or what you want to know is that like a common experience, common in sympathetic joy meditation, or is it that a particular day we are more rested or less distracted and hence this experience? More rested or less rested, it depends. If you are sleepy, you will fall asleep during meditation. If you're tired, you may. If you are really rested, that's true. I understand what you what you're saying by more rested. Yeah, if you're more rested, if you're doing it at a time when you have some energy in your body, you will have better time focusing. So just different days are different. What is important is to notice and accept. That brings me to the concept I want to talk about, which is that of acceptance. We have talked about acceptance because mindfulness meditations are basically about being aware and to accept without judgment and simply observing. Now, the accept part, what is the accept part? Sometimes people may think that accepting means accepting bad behavior or bad situation and to become okay with it. That's not what acceptance is about. Acceptance, does it also mean condoning somebody committing crime or committing something against you? No, that's not what it is about. Acceptance is about you accepting whatever is going on with you right now without resisting the pain. So, a lot of times when we find ourselves in a bad situation, we resist it. If you're a parent and if you see your child, let's say if there is any issue with learning or any issue with any mental health or behavior or anything like that, you resist accepting it. You explain it away. That's a common experience. If you are in a bad relationship or a bad friendship or a bad marriage, it takes time to accept that that's the way it is. That either I made a mistake or I wasn't right in choosing this, or that yes, it's painful, it hurts. That's it. It really hurts. And accepting is to be open to the pain without resisting it. When you resist the pain, when you want to ward it away no matter what, explain it away, blame it on somebody else, or blame it on yourself, either way, you're resisting it. What happens? Pain and resistance together create suffering. So you are increasing your suffering. So acceptance, again, even in chronic pain, as I said, sometimes you just have to pay attention to where the pain is and accept it as it's pain. Don't add stories, don't add a lot of other explanations when you're meditating, because that will add to your suffering. So that's acceptance. Sometimes for us, physical pain is easier. Like when we, let's say something happens to us, we'll go and put a band-aid, or if there's fever, we'll take Tylenol. But we don't have the same feeling about mental pain. A lot of time we resist it. Sometimes we feel angry. We want to blame somebody. Or sometimes we feel so bogged down under the weight with all the stories that we make that it's hard to just stay with, okay, this hurts, this is painful, and be okay with the pain and the hurt. Or, oh, this generates anxiety in me, this is fear, and just that. So that's what we are doing when we are mindful. We are accepting whatever feelings come. Sometimes there may be joyful feelings, and if it is joyful, it's easier to accept it. But then sometimes we add self grandiosity and all these kinds of things. So just to look at feelings the way they are and accept it. And I have to talk a little bit more about pain in this regard, because that's a harder thing to accept. Pain, as in pain, anger, anxiety, fear, all these negative feelings. Just to accept it, or even jealousy and envy, to accept it. So we are going to get more into this idea of acceptance, more so the idea of self-compassion. So self-compassion is really accepting yourself. It is to accept the person who is experiencing the pain. And believe me, for some people, it's harder to accept you than to accept other people. It's harder to say, uh, well, I made a mistake, but I accept it. It is painful, but I accept it. Instead of, I mean, it's easier sometimes to say that the other person without judgment, oh, okay, that's what they did and it's okay. It's harder to offer that to ourselves, because a lot of times we feel afraid. If we accept ourselves, we may become complacent. We may stop trying harder. We may stop improving ourselves. But as time goes by, I will talk about how, in fact, more and more research is showing that self-compassion is a better motivator rather than self-criticism. So self-compassion is opposite of self-criticism, opposite of rejecting yourself. But the first step is to accept. Now, in this context, there are a couple of key figures, and I'm going to talk about somebody who is my mentor, and again, extremely kind and smart and a self-compassionate as well as compassionate person, Chris Germer. Chris Germer has written a book. It's called Mindful Path to Self-Compassion. Any one of you who's interested in self-compassion must read this book. I am going to show you Chris's. I'm going to share his website to you. He practices in Boston, Massachusetts. He is a psychologist, and he also has a center. He has founded a center called Mindful Self-Compassion, Institute for Meditation and Psychotherapy. That is the founding member of Institute of Meditation and Psychotherapy, where he also teaches self-compassion workshops. And he does some of his work with a professor called Kristen Neff from UT Austin, and we'll talk about that next time. Today, let's focus on Chris Germer. I think I need to show you, first of all, his name, which seems hidden. Mindful Self-Compassion, Christopher Germer, PhD. So Chris Germer roamed around in India for 10 years, searching for a lot of different things in Hinduism as well as in Buddhism. And then once he found Buddhist ideas, especially mindfulness, that's where he rested. Self-compassion, not only that he has used it in his own life to overcome his fear of public speech, but he has been doing therapy by using notions from compassion. So that's what he does, and he travels internationally to teach workshops in self-compassion. That has become his passion in the whole area of mindfulness. So today, let's start by doing a simple self-compassion meditation. And I would be very curious to know what your reaction to this meditation is. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And relax your shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. And pay attention to your breath for a little while. Bring yourself all here with your breath. And now place your hand on your heart and first notice how the touch of your hand feels like on your chest. Notice the slight rising and falling of your chest. This is me and my body. And right now, this is my chest rising and falling with my breath. And as you're doing it, say to yourself in your mind, may I be happy. May I experience peace. May I be at ease. And as you're saying this to yourself, pay attention to what you're saying and see if you can feel it in your body. As you're saying, may this body, may this me who experiences this body be peaceful, happy, and at ease. When you're saying it, see if you can get into these feelings. And if not, what interrupts it? What comes to your mind as you're saying it? Is there any doubt, any contradiction, or any but what about this type of a thought? Just simply notice it. No need to do anything. Just simply notice it and accept it. Get into this meditation fully, safely. While we are here together, just see what comes in your way when you're talking about being happy, being at ease, and experiencing peace. If at all, if at all anything comes in your way, just simply notice it. That's the first step. And I'm going to let you do this on your own. I just remind you to come back to it. If your mind is wandering around, bring it back to saying, may I be happy, may I experience peace, may I be at ease. Bring your attention back. May I be happy, may I experience peace, may I be at ease. May I be happy, may I experience peace, may I be at ease. And at this point, slowly come back to your breath again and pay attention to your breath. Just breath and the body sensations around the breath. And now say the three lines to yourself, the one line three times to yourself. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. And with that, you can open your eyes slightly at first and then all the way. Now, self compassion, the first step is acceptance just the way it is. Take away the resistance, take away the inability to face your feelings, because a lot of times feelings mean a lot more to us than just feelings. It hurts, and that's okay. To be able to open to experience moment by moment, that's what we did. And as you can see, why mindfulness meditations are widely popular among psychologists and psychotherapists and psychiatrists, because they get into how do you deal with feelings, how to transcend feelings, transform them into something that actually works for you. So, with that, I hope that you do this meditation of self acceptance, and then we'll get more into self compassion. What we did right now was acceptance. It was a form of self compassion when we said, may this person, may I be happy. So we were offering compassion, awareness, as well as a wish that this person be happy to ourselves. So we'll do more about it next time. I don't see any questions at this point. So I think it is time to say bye for now. And tomorrow we'll do another self compassion meditation, and we'll talk a little bit more about self compassion. Do write me an email if you have any question to meditate together at gmail.com. And bye for now.